Well, welcome back, you guys. We are on chapter 13 of Furiously Happy. I know it's been such a long time, but in my defense, a lot has been happening in my personal life. I just moved in with Miss Mindy. In case you guys didn't know, some of you are probably thinking, wow, that was fast. We've been really good friends, and I mean like really good friends for a good solid year. She knows things about me that a lot of people don't know. So, yeah, I'm happy. Life has gotten super good, and I don't know. It's just it's funny when you meet the right person that makes you laugh and you can trust and you have common interests can make you feel better. Can make life and relationships worth having and living. Anyway, we're on chapter 13, Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. This one is called Skinterventions and Bangtox. I know, but that's what it says. I've never been much of one for cosmetic enhancements or additions. I don't understand the need to stuff yourself with Botox or implants or collagen injections. However, I can completely understand the urge to strip stuff away in the name of beauty. I'm a sucker for pet eggs, getting the fat pummeled out of you with high-frequency radio waves, wraps that make you sweat your toxins, and cleanses that make you shit out your colon. That's nice. Somehow, that all seems healthier to me, or at least more likely to make me less of who I am, which is probably pretty unhealthy. Now that I think about it, I think I may need to call my shrink to tell her I just had a breakthrough. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Turns out that my shrink sends all of her calls to answering service after 10 p.m., and they were disappointingly unimpressed with my epiphany about why I may pronounce this word wrong, dermatillomania. Probably because they don't even know what dermatillomania is. Page turn. In fact, even spell check doesn't know what it is, and when I asked for its suggestions, it said learn spelling, which is both rude and unhelpful. Spell check. Dermatillomania is an impulse control disorder that makes you want to scratch your skin off. It flares up when I'm stressed out and I find myself scratching at my imperfections. I usually pick at my scalp and it won't stop bleeding, or at my thumb, which is now permanently deformed from years of self-damage. It's sort of shitty, and I don't recommend it. I'm going to pause there before I move on to the next paragraph. I actually do that, my friends, because of my anxiety. Mainly when I'm driving or if I'm sitting watching a movie, my pointer finger, my index finger with that nail on that finger, I'll peel at the skin on my thumb around my nail. It's a pretty terrible habit, but it's anxiety. Sometimes I'll even bite at my skin around my nails, which is gross when you think about it because your hands touch everything, literally everything. God knows what germs are under your nails even. Anyway, moving on. Next paragraph. I found healthier ways of dealing with this need to pick my skin off, like wrapping my fingers with tape. I've done that actually with Band-Aids and duct tape. Or coating my hair with coconut oil so it reminds me not to unconsciously scratch. Excuse me. I've also found not so healthy ways, like when I heard about microdermabrasion, which I suspect is Latin for I want to pull off your skin and turn it into my jacket. The dermatologist sent me an email about it, saying something about how my skin was suffocating underneath layers of my old dead skin, and I suddenly felt like I was wearing a mask of dust mites and dirt. I needed to have this done immediately, and I couldn't go alone. So there's this new thing I heard about where they rip your skin off. I may have screamed over the phone to my friend Laura. She was silent for a bit, and so I explained, because it makes you prettier. She still seems slightly unconvinced, so I continued. Hold on, I lost my place. I got a coupon for this microdermabrasion thingy. As I understand it, they rip off your face skin to make you look nice. I don't know what they have against face skin, but apparently it's very out of style, much like pubic hair and Gwyneth Paltrow. What does everyone have against Gwyneth? Laura asked, slightly annoyed. We'd gotten off track. Clearly, I wasn't describing this right. I continued, Laura, they rub your face off using diamonds. It's like a giant fuck you to the homeless. Like I'm using diamonds to rip my own face off. That's how little I care for diamonds or my face. Except that personally, I plan to keep my bloody diamond waste and strain it out like the miners do when they pan for gold. That way I can get a pan full of diamonds and some face skin. It's almost like the face rippers are paying me to do this. Plus, you get a skin consultation and an analysis, basically. So you get... All right, hold on. I lost my place. Plus, you get a skin consultation and analysis. So basically, you get your face ripped off, and then they tell you how shitty you look. But that's the price of beauty. That and $45 with Groupon, apparently. Wait a second, Laura replied. So I'm paying to have someone rip my face off and then shame me? It's like this was made for women. Count me in. Right? I said. That'll probably bring people in off the street to laugh at us. It's going to be like high school all over again. Who says no to this? Laura was in. Sign me up. I'm going to hang up for now. But before you convince me that being friends with you is too good for my self-esteem, call me if something else medieval and torturous opens up, like nipple waxing or bloodletting. This is kind of a messed up chapter. And that was all it took, because we were broken women who were all about paying stupid amounts of money to protect our sensitive face skin until someone offered to burn it all off for even more money. I'm not sure why women are often so vulnerable to every suggestion involving our faces, but for me, it's like I'm having an abusive relationship with my own head. I use nothing but soap and water until one of those small beauticians stops me on my way to buy a pretzel to tell me how bad I look and convinces me to lavish my face with an expensive cream that makes me immediately break out, probably because my face is not used to being cared for and it's panicking. Then I have to buy different expensive creams to fix the breakout. I'm told I need something to open up my pores so they can breathe. And the next week, I'm assailed by shame-based commercials telling me that my pores are so big gophers have fallen into them. So I buy something for that too, and suddenly I look like I have very fancy leprosy. Oh my God. Then my dermatologist says, "What have you done to your skin? Stop everything you're doing. Just use this cream to clear this all up." But when I put it in my medicine cabinet, I realize it's the exact same cream that started this mess, but 10 times as expensive because it came from my doctor. Then I'm like, fuck you, face. I'll burn you off with fruit acids and diamonds. In truth, though, I was a bit concerned about the whole process. I remembered watching Slim Goodbody on TV. Anybody know what Slim Goodbody is? I've never heard of him. Or the show, or whatever it is. An odd white guy with a small afro who wore a full-body leotard with the inside of the human body paint on it, which made him look as if he'd been filleted alive. He was like a terrible precursor to those world's corpses they show at museums that have given up on local being that have given up on being actual museums, and I worried that I might end up looking like Slim Goodbody's estranged sister, Fatty No Skin. You can tell I haven't read in a while. I'm kind of stuttering here. The next day, Laura and I arrived at the clinic and immediately fell out our element. Lost my place. Fell out of our element as we huddled together on the couch and gazed at a woman who looked as if they had fat sucked out their clavicles and injected directly into their lips. I had to silently read that to myself to make it make sense. We signed a pamphlet that explained the risks, but that also promised we'd end up with thicker skin, which I think meant our faces would get huge and our feelings wouldn't get hurt as much. I felt conflicted, so I'll gain inches, but on my face. I'm paying to get fat-faced. Laura looked at me uneasily, and we considered running, but then a nurse came in to bring us back to the exam room. She was sweet and nice, and she looked like she was 35, but she said she was in her 50s. Laura assumed she was a poster child for the process. I assumed that she was a compulsive liar. The nurse had each of us put her head into a glowing machine that took a series of pictures of our faces. Then she used those pictures to scare the ever-living shit out of us. She showed us sun damage and scarring, and then she showed us the picture that made us stand up and shout, "What the fuck is that?" It was a colony of bacteria living on my face. "Holy shit," I said, while peering into the large green clusters across my nose and forehead. There's an entire alien race camping out on my face. It's like a fucked up version of Horton Hears a Who, except that the Who's are squatters living on my face. It's pretty normal, the nurse tried to assure me. It's just bacteria. I stared at the nurse. There are live creatures squatting on my face, and you're going to kill them. Well, that's a strange way to look at it, said the nurse uneasily. Apparently, she had a lot of people grossed out by these pictures, but none had ever had an ethical crisis about them. "Evacuate, you guys," I tried to yell at my own face. "Go to the neck," I offered. "Wait," I asked the nurse. "You aren't going to do my neck, are you?" "Oh, stop being such a hoarder," Laura said. "I'm not a hoarder," I countered. "I'm trying to stop a mass murder on my face." "No," she replied. "You're a face hoarder. You're hoarding bacteria on your face. We're going to have a skintervention." I looked at the nurse, who seemed baffled and slightly unnerved, probably because Laura's terrible pun. "Does PETA ever have a problem with this since you're killing all these tiny life forms?" She shook her head. "I can honestly say I have never had anyone have a problem with this until now. They're really not good to have on your face. Your porphyrins are unhealthy and can..." "What the shit?" I interrupted. "They're called poor friends? You want me to murder my poor friends?" "No, you're pronouncing it wrong. Honestly, it's just a routine cleaning." "It's genocide." The nurse took a deep breath and tried to change the subject. "So, what would you expect to have happen as a result of this treatment?" I paused and thought about it for a second. "I sort of expect to have my face ripped off and find John Travolta underneath it, but just for the day. After that, it wouldn't be funny anymore." Laura had a much more normal reason why she wanted the treatment. "I want to get rid of some of these wrinkles, but I don't ever want to get Botox." "Well, Botox can be very helpful," explained the nurse. "I don't need Botox," Laura countered. "I got bangtox. It's when you decide to get bangs to cover your forehead and wrinkles." "It totally works, and no one injects poison in your face." I nodded in agreement. "Yes, I would also like to avoid getting poison shot near my brain. Laura concurred. I need my brain. It's where I keep all my best stuff. The nurse looked a little lost and did our treatments quickly. It was much like getting your teeth cleaned, but for your whole face. The nurse reluctantly gave me the filter as she was done, but there was hardly any face in it and pretty much no diamond dust. It wasn't even enough to pan for. So in the end, I was left with a small vial of face dust filled with now homeless Who's, an expensive face toothbrush, and hundreds of dollars worth of what I assume is Vaseline. I also ended up with the newfound appreciation of what my dermatillomania was doing to my face, and I went an entire month without scratching it open, mostly because I didn't want to disturb the poor friends who were probably valiantly trying to rebuild their tragic act of God they'd just encountered. Still, my face does not feel very clean. Clean and terribly, terribly lonely. Wow, I felt like that was a tough chapter to get through. Whew, I'm sorry to put you guys through that torture. But that was chapter 13, Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I have a new adventure coming up this weekend. Miss Mindy and I are taking the pups out on a trail. We are headed up to Montour Falls, New York. It's going to be a great time. First time we're taking the pups out. It's going to be fun. So I hope you guys tune in and check out the video. It'll either be posted on Sunday or Monday. Lately, I shouldn't even say lately, but I've been having good luck with getting videos posted on Sundays. So we're going to shoot for Sunday. But thank you guys for listening. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, y'all please be good to each other. And by the way, Merry Christmas.